And it's of a wonderful songwriter, Harold Arlen. We also have here one of the producers, Dick DeBenedictis, and the director and choreographer of the program, Mr. Tony Stevens. He'll be stepping out here after me to tell you a little more about the show. And then some cast members will be here, and you'll hear some excerpts from the show. So please greet them warmly. And right now, would you welcome Mr. Tony Stevens?
Hi guys, I can't see any of you. Well, the whole point of this show is to introduce our audiences to Harold Arlen. The whole through line is you say Cole Porter, you say George Gershwin, you say Irving Berlin, and most people know who that is. You say Harold Arlen, and no one knows who it is, and then you play all his music and you go, oh my God, he wrote that, and he wrote that, and he wrote that. So that's the through line of the show. We do it in different sections. The Cotton Club is where he started. The Cotton Club was a big black nightclub in the Harlem. It became the very chic place to go in New York in the 20s and 30s. And Lena Horne and Duke Ellington and Cab Calloway and all these incredible performers started there. And he had his first big successes there. So that's the opening of the show, and we're going to do a couple numbers from the Cotton Club for you. So the first one is going to be Joseph, right? Okay. This is Dick DeBenedictis, a producer and fine musician, I might add. And this is Joseph Parche. And see if you know this song.
Blow, ill wind, blow away. Let me rest today. You're blowing me no good, no good. I don't know why there's no sun up in the sky. Stormy weather since my loving girl and I ain't together. It keeps raining and raining and raining all the time. All the time, life is bare, gloom and misery, misery everywhere. Stormy weather, I just can't get my poor old self together. I'm weary all the time, all the time. Weary, 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 all the time. Since she went away, the blues walked in and met me. If she stays away, rocking chair will get me. So all I do is pray, pray that the Lord above will let me walk in the sun once more, just once more. Can't go on. Everything I have is gone. Stormy weather, stormy weather. Since my girl and I see we ain't together, it keeps raining and raining and raining all the time, all the time keeps raining.
on? Is this on or off? On. How many knew that song? You heard that song before? Right. Here's one I know you probably haven't heard, but we found it in our perusal of all of Harold's song. He wrote over 400 songs, and there's a character that has been in musical theater we've come to know as the Red Hot Mama. And here's our Red Hot Mama, Mary Bon Davis.
I'm buried in worry, surrounded by woe. No end to my troubles I can see. Depression has got me and won't let me go. It's trying to double up on me. Good luck has crossed me, bad luck has forced me down to my one last cent. I'm right in the middle of solving that riddle known as raising my rent. Still beg or borrow, I got till tomorrow. Landlord's a mean old gent. It's come to a showdown, and he wants the lowdown. If I'm raising my rent, better times are taking too long. The panic's on, and it's hitting me too strong. Got a right to sing a blues song. Trouble has got me down. I've made my mind up. I'd rather wind up camping out in a tent than being in the middle of solving that riddle known as raising my rent. I said I'm raising my rent. I know how to get that money up, baby. Yeah. I got to raise me some rent. Some rent. Thank you.
Mary Bon Davis. Hello. Yeah. Our next lady is Miss Marty Lynne singing another song that you might or might not know. Okay, here we go.
Skies ain't gonna cloud no more. The crops ain't gonna fail. Caught a bluebird by the toe, a rainbow by the tail. That certain man with eyes that shine voodooed up this heart of mine. It seems like happiness is just a thing called Joe. He's got a smile that makes the lilacs wanna grow. He's got a way that makes the angels heave a sigh. Sometimes the cabin's gloomy and the table bare. Then he'll kiss me and it's Christmas everywhere. Troubles fly away and life is easy go. Does he love me good? That's all I need to know. Seems like happiness is just a thing called Joe. Little Joe. Thank you. Thank you.
One of the other sections that we do in the show is the movies. Harold wrote songs for over 37 movies. The most famous being The Wizard of Oz, which he won an Academy Award for, and A Star is Born, which has just been re-released. You probably are aware of that. And but most of them were pretty not so great movies. But the songs that he wrote were fantastic and have stayed with us. And we do little takeoffs of these movies. We kind of spoof the movies. So here's Lance Roberts and Mary Bond Davis with Here Come the Waves, Action.
Oh yes, Claude. Before I felt we were drifting apart. Now we're just drifting. Life is short, brother.
Ain't it the truth? And there is no other.
Ain't it the truth? You gotta grab that rainbow while you still got your youth.
Oh, ain't it the gossip pill?
Got to accentuate the positive,
Eliminate the negative.
latch on to the affirmative. Don't mess with Mr. In-Between.
You've got to spread joy up to the maximum.
Bring gloom down to the minimum.
Have faith
Oh, pandemonium, liable to walk upon the sea. To illustrate my last remark, Jonah in the well,
in the well,
Noah in the
Noah in the
ark.
ark.
What did they do? Just when everything looked so dark.
You gotta
Real short,
accentuate the positive.
ain't it the truth?
Eliminate the
And
negative.
there is
Pull out your
no
own.
other. Ain't it the truth? You throw your lane,
Spread
pull the signs
joy
on
to the
you,
maximum. Down to the minimum. There'll be no breathing spell.
That's only natural. Ain't it the gossip pill?
Don't mess with Mr. In-Between.
Now, ain't it the gospel truth? Yes, don't mess with Mr. In-Between.
mess with Mr. In Between.
Okay, that's it for the performance, I guess. That's all we've got prepared here. I guess we could do question and answers now, right? Is that it? Diane? No, okay. Can we turn on the lights? I can't see anybody. You know, it would be nice to let us see them too. Would you guys come out here? Come on out. See, there are people.
Oh, hi.
So does anybody have any questions? Yes. What's the run of the show? As long as we sell tickets. You know, so it's open-ended. That's what they call an open-end run. Anything else? Any question about Harold? Yes. Well, like I said before, you say these other composers and you know who it is. Harold's one of the most respected popular composers in America. He's, I guess, what you would call a composer's composer, and has never really gotten his due in this way. And so that's the reason. And Dicta Benedictus and Bill Dyer over there, who are two producers, obtained the rights about, 4 years ago? And so it was their kind of brainchild in the sense that they really wanted to do this and bring it to the world and give him his, applaud his work. Because when you sit through the evening, it's really amazing. He wrote... help me out. Paper Moon, World on a String, that old Black Magic, Man That Got Away. I mean, it's like an amazing amount of American popular music that we all have heard at some time, and you don't know his name. It's strange. I don't know why that happened. If he wasn't a public person, or what? Because it just hasn't happened. It's strange. Any other thing? Real talky group here. Yes. Yes, we did. We listened to over 400 songs, I think. It took us about 2 weeks to get through not only what was recorded, because we had almost everything that I think was recorded of his by different artists. Lena Horne's done a huge amount of his work. Streisand in her early albums was a major Harold Arlen singer. She did a lot of his work, and all those, the Tony Bennett's and all those people have sung his work through the years. And then we had all unpublished music that he had written, and the scores of the Broadway shows and everything. So it took us about 2 weeks to just, all we did was sit and listen and make lists, and started making list upon list, and try to categorize the types of music he wrote, because he has an incredible range too. Not only does he do the blues, which is maybe what he's most famous for, but he did Caribbean music. He wrote a musical with Truman Capote called House of Flowers, and Truman Capote wrote the lyrics, and it's some of the most wonderful music you've ever heard. And then let's see, what else? The blues, and then all that movie music, and a lot of vaudeville-like music. He wrote for revues in the early 30s, I guess, on Broadway, with Burt Lahr and those kind of people, special material, comic stuff. What?
Is it Ray Bolger also?
Yeah, Ray Bolger, too. All those guys. So we listen to a lot of music. Yes? Sure. Mary, you want to start?
Yeah. Hi, my name is Mary Davis. My stage name is Mary Bond Davis. Don't know what that means. I am a home girl. I'm from LA. Yay, a few of us around. I've been singing, I guess, professionally since I was about 15. And I've been doing theater since I was about 12. And that's about it. You know, what else do you want to know? Credits. Oh, yeah, I was understudy for 2 years with Ain't Misbehavin' on the bus and truck tour. Not for Nell, but for Nell's character and Armelia McQueen's character. And I was on the world tour with that. And I did a show called Inner City. I did a show called Arsenic and Old Lace. I did a show called Applause. Oh, I just did Give Me a Break. You can watch the Merv Griffin show on March 13th. I'll be on there. And Raising the Rent. It's a song that Harold wrote in his Cotton Club days. And it's based on rent parties. A lot of people had rent parties to raise their rent, and they would, you know, charge people $1 or whatever to come in and to drink and eat. And they would also have, I forgot the word, I don't know, they would have musicians come to play, and they would kind of battle it out, you know, to see who was the baddest on the keyboard or whatever instrument they had, you know. So that's what that song is about. That's it. This is Mr. Joseph Parche.
Hi. Well, my name is Joseph Parche, and my stage name is Joseph Parche. Lucy. I've been singing a long time. I started singing in church and with choirs and that kind of thing. And a few years into that, I recorded a gospel album which played what we call the Chitlin circuit, which is not a whole lot of exposure, but you know, you learn a little bit about about singing. And I did clubs in Chicago, Milwaukee, you know, where you sing over smoke and talk and conversation. And I've only been out in LA a little bit over a year, and much of that time has been involved with the show Get Happy since July. And it's a pleasure to be in the show and sing Stormy Weather, which a lot of people don't know was originally written for a man, Cab Calloway. And I've had a lot of people ask me about that, you know, singing a woman's song, and it was written for a man originally. I'm like, Mary, what else would you like to know? I would like to do some recording more so than anything. I love the theater, but I think my heart's there in recording. And so looking for that break. Any agents out there? That's it.
Well, my stage name is Marty Lynne. I have other names, Martha Taylor, Martha Hocker, Martha Lyons. Don't ask me how I got all those different names, though, but I am Marty Lynne on the stage. And I started off in Brooklyn, New York. And, Brooklyn, you all are from Brooklyn? It's a great place, huh? Why are we here then, huh? And I started off in a recording studio, and I used to do jingles, little backup jingles, and for Time Savers. I don't even know whether there are Time Saver stores here, but we Time Savers got it, and that used to be us. And Coors Beer, we used to do Dixie beer commercials. That's in the South. I'm just coming in from New Orleans, and we used to do a lot of car commercials and things like that. And then I came to L.A., because if you want to sing the blues, which I love the blues, but if you want to do anything other than the blues, it's best to leave out of New Orleans, because there you will end up on Bourbon Street the rest of your life singing the blues. Well, I wanted to do other things, but before I left there, I did do the opera, the New Orleans Opera Company, and if you want to do something other than opera and the blues, I said, well, maybe I should come to L.A. Well, I came to L.A. and I met all these wonderful people, and I've been maybe in L.A. about a year, almost a year, and wonderful things have happened to me here, and I've met a lot of very good people, and anyone who's aspiring to be in this business, just do it. Just go for it. Because I just gave up all my stuff in New Orleans, honey, did not look back, and I have no regrets, and I've been doing just fine. So if anybody's out there who wants to do it, just do it.
Hi, I'm Lance Roberts, and I don't know how to do these things. Give me music. Well, I came here for 8 weeks last year to do a Broadway musical called Walls at the Huntington Hartford, which closed. Oh, you were the three people. Oh, you should have came the next week again. No, I came out here to do Walls. It's about these three couples in group therapy, and it was an idea that's time had gone already. So it was a little outdated when we did it. So it folded, it closed, and I was packing my bags to go back to New York. I'm from New York City. I was born there. I was raised there. I went away to private school and junior high school, and high school, but I was there most of my life, and I never thought about working on Broadway or even really being in show business. I was singing in the chorus and of the choir at school and everything. And how it happened was I was in college. I went to Tufts University in Boston, and I auditioned for a place called Opryland. It's a theme park. And have you auditioned for them? Huh? Yeah, Jean Sloan with her big blonde hair, remember her? well, we became really good friends, and I started working down there. And then when I went back to school, I was auditioning for the first national tour of Ain't Misbehavin' in Boston. And some producers were sitting in the back, and they kept saying, pss, 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 pss. And I was only 19 years old, and I said, oh, they can't be interested in me. I mean, there were all these people, and of course, there were the heavy-set women up for the Nell Carter roles, and all these accomplished dancers up for the Andre DeShields role, and I was in there, and I wasn't really a dancer, and I just kept throwing my legs around and smiling and hoping that they would just look at my teeth and not at my feet, and I was in there, and they kept talking and talking and talking, and they said, we want you to come back. We want you to come back later. So I came back, and then this lady came up to me, and she wasn't with the Ain't Misbehaving people, and she said, there was a big show in Boston at the time called the All Night Strut. And it was the longest running show in Boston at the time, and they were taking out an international tour, and they were starting in Toronto. And she said, how would you like to audition for the All Night Strut? Now, I had seen the All Night Strut, and I remember sitting in the audience one day. I was a volunteer usher even, twice, because I loved the show so much. And I sat in the back, and I said to my friend, I said, God, if only I could do that. Not to be on the stage, but just to be able to do it. I mean, the guy was jumping all over the place, and, they had on nice costumes. The guy's part who I played had on a white tux, with tails, and, what could be better, And so, so I auditioned, and then the next day she called me, and she says, how would you like to go to Toronto to be in the all-night strut? Well, I couldn't believe it. So I said, well, it's like a summer job, it was no big deal. I started out pre-med and then switched to economics, okay? How many of you have done that? Okay, well, and so I said it's a summer job. So I came back to Boston after it was all over, and said, oh, that was nice. Then they told us we were replacing the Boston cast because they were asking for too much money. So we took over for the Boston cast. I said, oh, well, what's the big deal? I can take 5 economic courses and star in this musical at the same time. It's no big deal. Well, it was a very big deal, Try to explain to your economics professor, well, see, I have a matinee, and so I can't get this paper in, and they wouldn't buy it, And I remember that semester, I guess I was a junior. On my birthday, I had 2 finals, an economics finals, a calculus final, and I had a show that night. Now, I don't remember my birthday at all, and I tried to ask the producers. I said, I have 2 finals, and it's my birthday. Can I get off the show? No. And I go to my economics professors. I got a show tonight, and it's my birthday. Can I hand in this paper late? And they said, no, So at the end of that term, I said, I'm going to have to make a decision here. and I had given up pre-med, obviously. Actually, Tufts is a big dental school, and I'd gone there, and I was going out with this girl, and her father was an oral surgeon, so I figured if I go there to be an oral surgeon, I'd get on his good foot, and well, I got there, and I used to study by Muzak, and I said, well, I'm going to get in the mood for it, dentist music, and I was sitting there, I was sitting there studying one day, and I said, wait a minute. Now I can't like look into little kids' mouths, having them bite me, the bad breath and this music for the rest of my life. I got to do something that I enjoy. So I chose show business in the second semester of my junior year, which, it's an odd time to decide after you've spent $12,000 a year, for two years, to say, well, this is what I want to do. And I decided to do it. And I went back home to New York, and I went there basically to rest. Because I thought I was going to be sick, taking 5 courses and doing this musical. But I went to New York, and next thing I know, I was doing the Me Nobody Knows, and I did another bomb show on Broadway called The First about Jackie Robinson. Did a hit show called The March of the Falsettos, which played out here. And worked at Radio City Music Hall with the Rockettes. I sang New York, New York with 36, 72 legs kicking behind me. It was great. If you see the legs commercial, that costume is the costume that they wore behind me, okay? All right? They're making the big bucks now. But so I did that, and then L.A. called, and I came out here for 8 weeks, like I said, and I'm still trying to get home. So if anyone's driving that way, okay? Nice talking to you.
Dick, why don't you get up here? And this man has done so much, I can't tell you. So let him tell you. He's, quite an impressive list of credits.
I'd rather bypass the credits and just say how much we've enjoyed being here and how much I feel these people have really extended themselves. They're wonderful cast members, wonderfully talented people, and along with that have been very supportive of the production right straight through, all kinds of special occasions, awards, here, our commercial. They've given us enormous support. And I want to say to them and to Tony Stevens, who has been responsible for the creation of the show, along with my partner Bill, thank you for coming. And that's about it.
I'm Bill Dyer, and I'm Dick's producer. Dick's partner. We have, in case you don't know, we have a student rush policy at the Westwood Playhouse. 1/2 hour before performance, you can come and get a good discount on our show. Your own Dr. David Morton was responsible for a lot of the unpublished or obscure songs that we got to peruse for our show. So we thank Dr. Morton for that, and UCLA. We started this project 4 years ago, and we started a workshop in July of '83, and moved to an equity waiver house in Hollywood called the Pilot Theater, and got good reviews, and moved to Westwood. So it's been a long journey. We have a cast of 13, from an older gentleman who is our narrator called Stan Freeman, to a young little girl who's 10 years old, who sings Harold Arlen's probably most famous song, Over the Rainbow. And in between, we have these other wonderful people here. We auditioned over 700 people in 3 weeks, and I think we have the best cast Ellie's ever seen. So we'd like you to come see us, okay? That's the point, really, isn't it?
Okay, I guess that's about it. It's 12:48 by my digital. Thank you very much.